Hello guys, this is Terry from Genki Gaming TV coming back at you with another Yokai Watch ShadowSide review. Today's episode is episode 17. This episode was really interesting, and this episode is called Tatali to Kukuri-san, or the Cursed Fox and Kukuri-san. This episode had a lot of puns in it, so I'm going to first start off by kind of explaining what the kids were doing in the beginning. It's kind of like the Ouija board situation, but it's a little bit different. It's like they can ask who they will date or fall in love with in the future, when they will die, when they will be successful, or who will be successful. It's a little bit different than what we traditionally see when we see something similar to that here in America, which is where I'm at. But I can infer or guess that it's similar in other places around the world where something like this isn't common practice. It's something you're not going to do with your grandma unless you're both into quote-unquote the occult, which is what people over here would kind of infer you're into if you do something like that, or it's Halloween. So just wanted to provide you with that little bit of background information. And this episode starts off with our classic quote-unquote scene setup, and the pacing of the episode is really good. Akinori is sad because Hime is only seen a little bit because Hime had to go to a different place, I believe with her parents. So Akinori is sad until Natsumi receives a text from Hime. And then he goes into Hyper Super Saiyan Akinori mode. Yes, when someone has fire in their eyes, it's Hyper Super Saiyan mode. At least that's what I'm calling it. I'm waiting for him to go all DBZ on us with the Anima Watch. But that's besides the point. So they talk about Kukuri-san, and there's some puns here. With Kukuri-san and Kyuubi and Kyuubi and the whole mispronunciation thing that probably won't happen in the English episode because, as you know, localization isn't very good at doing those jokes as smoothly as what the original does, but spark notes can be a thing for the kids watching it. The whole thing about Kyuubi, that's not the right word thing. But we finally get to see Kyuubi, who we've not seen since the movie, which I still got to review. It's on the list of things I have to do for next week. But Kyuubi sits down with them and talks about the possibility of it being a shrine guardian doing this for some particular reason. So they go and find the shrine at their school after Keisuke has a little freak out moment because it's something scary and he needs someone to protect him. I know a couple of my subs would protect him, but that's besides the point. So they get there. They see I'm gonna say a grandmother or an Oba-san that Akinori's grandmother knows. So they have a little bit of a chat about the past, and it's really sad, like all of the reasoning behind it and how diligent this lady has been to the shrine itself. I wish I could remember her name. I just watched the episode a moment ago, but I keep kind of failing. But let's get back into it. But basically this Inari shrine basically becomes a yokai. A mysterious fox yokai attacks. Toma decides to go Goemon, and Goemon gets bodied by little Inari. And the design of Inari is excellent. It's one of my favorite yokai designs yet for ShadowSide. I like how slick the purple looks. It's kind of foreboding because when I saw the Morisaki robe, or the purple robe on Kyuubi, I kind of thought that it would be purple, plus the whole motif that it was giving off in the beginning. But that's beside the point. So Toma gets rocked. We have a really funny moment where we finally get to see what the arcs are stored on. It's a gigantic keyring that Whisper holds onto, so I guess it's safe and that no one can damage it or steal it or misplace it because Whisper has it and not Michi. So yeah. So Natsumi asked for Kyuubi's arc, but she said Kyuubi or Kyuubi. But basically what she asked for was a cucumber by mistake. And her mispronunciation makes Whisper think she said cucumber. And if we were fighting a Kappa, that would be great, because cucumber is Q-the as opposed to Cuckoo-the or QB. So it's a play off of that, and then we got a scene where Whisper hands her a kiwi, which was hilarious as well. And it was almost at the point where he had a container of mayonnaise in his hand, and then he finally gives her the right key. Kyuubi shows up. Little Inari has a fangirl moment. Kyuubi-sama, and then just like gives up, explains the backstory of the situation, that the Obasan we saw before, or the grandmother we saw before, had been diligently taking care of this Inari shrine since she was a Shogakusei, or an elementary school student. And the Kukuri-san myth is something that parents would tell to elementary school students to kind of quote-unquote keep them in line, because it kind of upholds certain things like not talking to strangers, not being out too late. It's same thing in line with the whole quote-unquote Ouija board scene. We saw at the beginning that in a way it's probably just going to dub out of existence, but I feel like it needs to be seen to get the grasp of what's actually going on. But yeah, we get the backstory. We get to see the whole life cycle of the little girl that became the grandmother from Shogakusei to I guess it's Shugakusei, like middle schooler or high schooler. You can't exactly tell in Level 5 anime certain things if they don't clip it right. Like the angle they showed the picture of her actually in a school uniform, it could have been a junior high school or a high school uniform. And then they showed her as a adult, as a mom with her son coming, and then as what we saw her as the grandmother, or the Obasan. So it turns out that she has been bringing, I believe it's tofu. At least that's what I was getting from the context. Maybe my earbuds are starting to go a little bit bad, but from watching her husband fry it, it makes me think it's like a sticky tofu. But he's passed, and she was saying that she had to leave. She was basically going to live with her son, and that made Inari, or who I'm gonna call Inari-chan, because it's little and super cute as its light side. It makes Gesso Drill's light side not nearly as cute. But that's completely beside the point. But it made the Inari worry about the concern of the shrine itself. Sadly, the shrine gets bulldozed, but we get another special scene where Natsumi, Akinori, Keisuke, and Toma catch up with the Oba-san as she's about ready to leave with her son, his wife, and their little girl, which I gotta hand it to Level-5 and the anime studio. The little girl is simply adorable. I like how Level-5 does small children. Like, they actually do it in like a really whimsical way, where they actually make kids seem like kids rather than other anime studios. Like, can't remember who it was that just basically makes them like any other character. I guess it's maybe the art style for ShadowSide that kind of makes everyone more expressive to a certain degree, but that's beside the point. We get a arigato scene, a thank you for taking care of the shrine, thank you for the food, and then we see the shrine bulldozed, and then the Oba-san, and then Natsume, Akinori, Toma, and Keisuke show up, and then the little Inari goes with the Oba-san after giving the arc to Natsume. And Natsume, like with Gesso Drill, went kawaii because it is simply cute. And she said the arc was hot, or atatakai, which I think it might mean like the warm feelings, or generally warm feelings from this yokai is within its arc as well. I thought that was an interesting touch. And then we had Hime, who was at a different location. I want to say that this is like a vacation place maybe, but in the scene she's looking at the TV and there's like a list of headshots of different people. Some of these are like really familiar faces. I'm not sure if it's from within the ShadowSide world, but I could have sworn I remember like 3 or 4 of them. As you know, the wiki sometimes doesn't do a good job with headshots. But at the end of this episode, we get a little glimpse of a spider and a moth. Like, the spider has the moth in its web, and it's going after it. This is really symbolic. It makes me think we could see a Jorogumo, or a spider woman, or a woman spider, or we could see any number of other spider themed yokai, especially with what our next episode is being called, which is Face Thief, or Kaododobo. It kind of infers to me that we could see something really interesting here. I'm not sure if the spider and moth is symmetry of Hime having us in her trap, because as far as Ash Anime and the Yokai Advisor and I know, Hime is a Black Widow spider preying on Akinori's soul. Aki Hime forever, though. And that's been it for this episode, guys. For this review, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. I do appreciate all of your support, and I hope you all have a wonderful, amazing morning, afternoon, and or evening. And like always, I'm looking forward to the next episode. And thank you so much for all of your comments and your support. I do truly appreciate it. And yet again, I'm not sure if I do a lot of pictures like I'm currently doing for the episodes, or if I should just do fewer pictures. Tell me your opinions down below. Yet again, thank you for all of the wonderful support. Bye. Bye for now.